We have already read it. Ah, yeah, okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
Rangada.
Okay, then I'll go sentence by sentence. Okay. Yes, starting. So, all the difficulties in dealing spiritually with the works of life arises because the will in life for its purposes in the ignorance has created a false soul of desire and substituted it for the spark of the divine, which is the true psyche. So, first of all, he's talking about the works of life means karma yoga. The other yogas are not doing karma in the world, they are avoiding. Okay, they are doing only those type of works which are necessary for their particular discipline. Say the karma yogins will not do any other. The jnana yogins, when they are doing jnana yoga, they will not do anything else. But they may read books, they may read scriptures, okay, and all that, but nothing more than that. They won't do anything. They'll avoid. Then what about the Bhakti Yoga? Bhakti Yoga also they will do puja, they will get flowers, all the things that are necessary for their work, that they will do, but nothing more than that. But in Karma Yoga, you are doing all the works necessary in ordinary life. And so that is the biggest problem. And what happens for that? The will in life, okay? Will in life, Swami is using very accurate words, but take it as a vital, okay? There is a will in the vital for doing what it wants to do. It wants success. It wants. It doesn't want failure, and it wants possession. It wants enjoyment. All these things, and these are all okay, but it is doing it with an ego. That's the problem. Okay, because the will in life for its purposes in the ignorance has created a false soul of desire. So when they use the word false soul of desire, he means a vital being. The vital, there are two elements, the higher and the lower. The lower vital is full of all sorts of negative emotions and negative movements. But the higher vital is still vital. It is very limited. But it has got nobler emotions. And because it has got nobler emotions, in the West, they used to particularly think that that's the soul of man. So suppose you are very generous, they'll say, what a wonderful spiritual man. If you are being philanthropic, they will say this is the ultimate, he's a very spiritual person. So these sort of things. So that's the the will in life is there, it is mistaken for the vital being. The vital being is a false soul of desire. Which is the right soul? The deep inside you, the psychic being. Very, very deep inside. Okay? It's even beyond the intraconscious. Just outside your inside, not outside, inside your body mind life, there is an intraconscious. That means there is an inner mind which is very much more capable than your normal mind. There is an inner vital, there is also an inner physical. And behind all these, much, much deeper is a psychic being. And that is the real soul. But often it is mistaken. That's what Survey said. Okay? In India, it is not mistaken. It is mistaken by a common man, okay, who is not doing yoga. But the ones who are doing yoga, they know very well that this is only the emotional being. It's not the vital. It's not the psychic. Okay, so this is in the true psyche. So if we use the word psyche, it's a Greek word, but he has used that and he has adopted that for the Chaitya Purusha. The psychic being is normally referred to in our Indian scripture as a Chaitya Purusha. Okay, so the true psyche is a Chaitya Purusha, the divine element in you, which is pure, but it is sleeping and it has bound itself and it has covered itself up with the three layers of body, vital and mind. And through many, many lives, it has to slowly develop, wake up to its own potentialities and then come forward and guide life. That happens. Yeah, tell me.
A Chaitya Purusha is coming from Chitta, no? Chaitya Purusha comes from Chitta.
Yeah, that's right.
So one who is having a mind, is it like that? One who is having a mind or no?
No, I didn't follow exactly. Chaitya is, yes, conscious.
Yeah, Purusha is associated with mind generally, no? One who has a mind.
Oh, Oh, then I have to explain to you what is consciousness. Mind is awareness. Okay? And the consciousness in the mind is awareness. But awareness is not consciousness. We mistake that all the time. Consciousness is something that exists by itself. It's a substance. From the highest to the lowest, there is an infinite consciousness which takes its stand upon all the different. Consciousness at the highest level is pure chit. Then when it comes down to the supramental level, it puts on the supramental character. When it comes to the overmind, it puts on the character of the overmind. When it comes into the higher mind, the character of the higher mind. These characters are all different. When it comes into the mind, it becomes mind consciousness. When it goes down into the vital, it becomes vital consciousness. And when it goes down into the body, it is body consciousness. We have discussed body consciousness many times, remember?
Yeah.
So don't think that consciousness means mind. Mind is only one aspect, one level at which consciousness takes on the characteristics of mind. And that is mostly awareness. There is also an awareness in physical, in the vital, because the animal is also conscious, but very much limited. And there is also a consciousness in the body, remember that. Okay? So that you won't call awareness. No? So don't make a mistake. Consciousness is something fundamental. It exists everywhere. It is something, it can be impersonal, but it can also become personal when the consciousness in you is different from the consciousness in me. Okay? It takes on the characteristics of whatever house it is lodged in. That's the whole thing. Okay. I can explain this in another way also. Tarika, let us say that your body mind life is a vessel, na? Because it can control, it can contain thoughts, it can contain emotions, and it can contain your body reactions. So if this, I will describe you as a vessel, and your vessel is, let us say, colored green, okay? And somebody else, okay? Let us say me, okay? I am another vessel altogether, and I am colored, let us say, blue. So when this consciousness, which is like a fluid, is pouring into your vessel, it becomes exactly what I said. What did I say your color was?
Green.
It takes your color. When it comes into me, it takes my color. So when consciousness goes into the mind, it takes on the characteristics of mind. When it comes into the body, it takes on the characteristics of body. Body consciousness, you remember we have discussed many times. There is a consciousness in the body which is not at all a mental thing, nor is it a vital thing. It's pure body consciousness. The best example of body consciousness is when you get a cut. The body knows in a very vague manner, not in a mental manner. It knows itself that it has to repair itself. So it starts coagulating and making it creates it blocks the damage. No? So this is body consciousness. Even if you see horses and cows, if a fly sits on the flank, what does the cow or the horse do? With its tail, slashes. This is not a mental movement. Okay? It's a body consciousness. Even your coughing. What is the coughing all due to? The body knows that there's something harmful in me and I have to throw it out. Okay? Sneezing, coughing, these are all body consciousness reactions. Okay?
But that is not body awareness?
Yes.
That is not body awareness?
Yeah, but it's not in a mental way.
Okay.
It's purely physical.
Instinct.
Yeah. See, even when a mosquito sits on you and you are reading something, your hand will go and smash it, but you're not thought. Sometimes you may think that the mosquito is there, let me kill it. But sometimes the hand automatically goes there while you are continuing to read. So it's a body consciousness. So exactly in the same way, this consciousness, this is something independent. Whatever it enters into, it becomes. Okay?
So Ranga, the Chaitya Purush is psychic being?
Yes. That's right. It is described as Chaitya. That is what the Sri Aurobindo uses. Okay. All right. So this way now discuss what is the true psyche is the psychic being, and the false soul of desire is the vital. All or most of the works of life are at present or seem to be actuated and vitiated by this soul of desire. The soul of desire completely dominates your nature, outer nature, body, mind, life. Okay, so all or most of its works of life are present or seem to be actuated. Okay, it's not absolutely like that, but it seems to be actuated and vitiated also. Everything it makes it impure. See, even the most noble act, okay, let's say philanthropy. That's why they use this word all the time. Everybody will say if you're philanthropic and you feed the poor, okay, and you give money to you give charity, you do, people will say, what a great man, what a spiritual man, so unselfish. But he is actually satisfying his own vital. He is actually getting satisfaction that I am doing good work. In other words, the ego is there and there is an egoistic satisfaction. So it is impure. There should be no ego reaction at all. If you can do that without getting any particular satisfaction, that is done very difficult. It can be done only when you go to the second level of this spiritual planes of consciousness. So long as you are in the body, it's almost impossible. The ego is always there. That's what he's saying. He's saying all or most of the works of life are done at present or seem to be actuated. It is initiated and vitiated also, made spoiled, made impure by the soul of desire. Even those that are ethical or religious, even those that wear the disguise of altruism, philanthropy, self-sacrifice, self-denial also are shot through and through with the threads of its making. So in other places is the ego is built into the very texture of your body, your vital, your mind. He used the words warp and woof. A cloth is made by threads going horizontally and going crosswise. So there is the warp and the woof. So the ego is there everywhere. Everything, your body, your vital and your mind, the ego is there everywhere, well settled. Okay? So to escape that, you have to become Trigunatita. You have to go beyond the body, mind, life. So long as you are there, very difficult. Altruism, philanthropy, self-sacrifice, self-denial are wonderful things. And people say, how great. Everybody can't do it. But when you do it, it's still not spiritual. It is a moral thing, not a spiritual thing. This, because spirituality means no ego. So long as ego is there, it cannot be spiritual. This soul of desire is a separative soul of ego, and all its instincts are for a separative self-affirmation. Self-affirmation, you insist on your own opinions, your own emotions, and your own actions. You want, and it is separative. Separative means there is no connection with the others. You do it for yourself. It pushes always openly or under more or less shining masks for its own growth, for possession and disharmony and perversion. Sorry, I read wrong. It pushes always openly or under more or less shining masks for its own growth. It is pushing for its own growth. It is pushing for possession. You always want to possess everything. For enjoyment, that's natural. For conquest and empire. It always wants to increase its, if you have got any amount of money also, you want always more. Any amount of enjoyment, you want more. This is the nature of the vital. If the curse of disquiet and disharmony and perversion is to be lifted from life, the true soul, the psychic being, must be given its leading place, and there must be a dissolution of the false soul of ego, of desire and ego. So the ego has to be dissolved and the psychic being has to come forward. But even if the psychic being comes forward, it only lays the basis for the ego. Even a very psychic person can appear to be much egoless, but the ego is there. The ego will disappear only when you go to the second level. Then only the ego disappears completely. Okay? And there also a very, very subtle form of ego that comes. But that we'll discuss later. This does not mean that life itself must be coerced and denied its native line of fulfillment. One must not use suppression. That's what Sadhguru is saying. Because suppression only leads to only Victorian virtues. I may not drink, I may not smoke, okay? But the desire is there in me. So what's the use? Suppression means the desire is there in you, but you're not doing it outwardly. So this is what Sadhguru is saying, coerce. You should not force it on. You have to offer it, not press it down, but offer it to the divine and ask for its removal. He will do it for you, he or she. Okay? But this does not mean that life must be coerced and denied its native line of fulfillment. Even the vital has got so many things. Suppose you are wanting to go into music, okay? Of course you should do it, but the ego has to be removed. I want to become a great musician, I want name and fame. That has to go, but you should continue to pursue your interest in music. That's what Sadhguru is saying. It doesn't mean to say that you eliminate the music itself in you. You eliminate only the ego. That's what you say. Okay? So, this does not mean that life must be coerced and denied its native line of fulfillment. For behind this outer life soul of desire, there is in us an inner and true vital being. That's what we discussed. No? There is a vital being inside in the interconscious, just behind the outer vital, which has not to be dissolved, but brought out into prominence and released to its true workings as a power of the divine nature. The inner vital, or the true vital as Srinu calls it, or the subliminal vital. It is inside you and it is pure, much purer than your outer vital. And if that can be brought forward, then it becomes much easier to control the vital movements. That's what Srinu says. Okay? It's a power of the divine. The prominence of a true vital being under the lead of the true inmost soul within us is a condition for the divine fulfillment of the objects of the life force. So in Karma Yoga, you have to bring the psychic forward and your vital, the inner vital must replace the outer vital. That's what he said. And then the aims of your life will be achieved. Divine fulfillment of the objects of the life force. Those objects will even remain the same in essence, but transformed in their inner motive. This one second. This one second. Yeah. Those objects. So we gave the example of music, we'll stick with that because it becomes easy to understand. So the object of becoming a musician should not be removed. It should be there. Those objects will remain, they will remain the same, but it will be transformed. The idea of becoming a great musician, becoming a very famous one, will not be there anymore. It will be transformed in their inner motive and outer character. The divine life power too will be a will for growth. This is, you have to grow. You should not be limited to what you are. A force of self-affirmation. Whatever is there good in you, you should continue to develop it and affirm it and say that yes, it is fully right. But affirmation of the divine in us, not the vital tendencies and the desires. That affirmation of the divine, not of your desires, not of the little temporary personality on the surface. The little temporary personality on the surface, you can interpret as your body, mind, life, or the ego. Okay, it's a very small thing on the surface. Growth into the true divine individual, the central being, the secret, imperishable person. Sherry is using the word person with a PCAP note. He means a psychic being. Okay, always. Whenever he says person with a PCAP, he means a psychic being or the self, the true person in you. But when he uses personality with a lowercase, he also always means the body, mind, life, and your outer nature. Okay, so whatever it is. Growth into the true vital, as a true divine individual, the central being. This is also said they use the word central being to mean the psychic being and the self. They use the word central being without being specific as to which is which. Both are central. And there is a possibility of their also becoming one. When the psychic being sometimes can rise and join the self. The self is always above. The self is never in your body. Okay? It doesn't come down. It's a psychic being which is in the body. Both are divine elements. One is above, supporting you, and one is inside, guiding you. Okay, so growth into the true divine individual, the central being, the secret, imperishable person who can emerge only by this subordination and disappearance of the ego. So this is a catch-22 situation. The ego will not go unless the psychic comes forward. And the psychic will not come forward so long as the ego is there. So what's the solution? Little by little, the more the psychic comes, the ego will be less. When the ego is less, the more the psychic can come forward. It's a balanced act. Okay. So this problem is always there. Na? Which came first? The egg or the chicken? The egg can't come without the chicken, and the chicken can't come without the egg. So which is the one? It's the same situation here. Okay, this is life's true now. So now he is defining what all these things that the vital wants are okay, but without the impurity. So there is a very interesting passage we'll be reading now. This is life's true object, growth. It is absolutely okay for you to grow in whatever you are doing. Grow in your arts, in your physical capacities, in your mental capacities, everything. In the vital capacities comes out into art, painting, music, sculpture, okay? The sense of beauty, all these things will come out. So growth is allowed, so we'll say. But it should be a growth not of your desires, but of the spirit in nature. The spirit, okay? Affirming and developing itself in mind, life, and body. Then possession. Possession also is good, but possession not of physical objects, okay, or of possessions, or of people, but a possession by the divine, of the divine in all things. By the divine, the psychic being, and the self, of the divine in all beings. Whenever you are possessing something, try to see the divine in whatever you are possessing. That's an interesting part. So suppose you are using a computer, there should be no ego that this is mine. Okay? That sense of mind should disappear. You should be able to think of it as though the divine has given it to you and you are using it. Anything that you are using, think of it as a divinely given object to you. That's it. Possession. But a possession by the divine, of the divine in all things, and not of things for their own sake by the desire of the ego. The next is enjoyment. So one by one he's telling you, growth is legitimate, possession is legitimate, enjoyment is legitimate. There are people who think that enjoyment is wrong, because enjoyment will give you attachment and desire. So don't enjoy. But that's wrong. So we're saying enjoyment is correct, but pure enjoyment. But as an enjoyment of the divine ananda in the universe. Then battle, fighting. Fighting is also good, but fight in the right way. not with enmity and rancor and anger, okay, not with hate, and conquest and empire in the shape of a victorious conflict with the powers of darkness. Okay. Now this is very interesting. I just mentioned whenever we used to, sometimes in the 50s and early 60s, our people used to go out for playing cricket in Cuddalore, okay, playing football with other teams, sometimes even for basketball. Okay, sometimes a team used to come from Madras, um, and we used to have competition. Mother always wanted us to win. She would always ask, "Did you win or not?" I remember a very interesting once. What happened was our people had gone in a football match, and they came back and told Mother, "We have won." Okay, so Mother was very happy and said, "How many goals did you win by?" So they said, "Mother, we won 1-0. And Mother said, "What? Only one, only one goal." She wanted more. Then they had to explain to her that in football, one goal is a big achievement. 2, 3 is very rare. So even 2, 3 can go up to, but never like in cricket, 500 runs, 600 runs, never. Okay. So in other words, battle, conquest, and empire is perfectly legitimate, but in the right way. In the shape of a victorious conflict with the powers of darkness. That's what you should conquer. An entire spiritual self-rule and mastery over inward and outward nature. Inward nature, you are Swara. Outer nature, you are Samra. A conquest by knowledge, love, and divine will over the domains of the ignorance. So the vital is perfectly justified in wanting growth, in wanting to possess everything, in wanting to enjoy and wanting to win, all legitimate. But it is done in a pure way. So long as the ego is there, it will be impure. But that doesn't mean you give up the things, you go on, but make it more and more pure, more and pure. How do you do that? Sacrifice, if you remember. Okay? Everything that you do it for the divine. That's it. If you do it with your own, you can't do it. It's not possible. So, now we can read the next paragraph. These are the conditions, and these must be the aims of the divine effectuation of works. So, Pallavi, Tuesday is your day. If you have the text, read it.
Okay, Rangada.
Okay. These are the conditions.
These are the conditions, and these must be the aims of the divine effectuation of the works of life and their progressive transformation, which is the third element of the triple sacrifice. It is not a rationalization, but a supramentalization, not a moralizing. But you can't hear, Rangada?
Yes, I can hear very clearly, no problem.
Okay. It is not a rationalization, but a supramentalization, not a moralizing, but a spiritualizing of life that is the object of the yoga. It is not a handling of externals or superficial psychological motives that is its main purpose, but a refounding of life and its action on their hidden divine element. For only such a refounding of life can bring about its direct government by the secret divine power above us and its transfiguration into a manifest expression of the divinity, not as now a disguise and a disfiguring mask of the eternal actor. It is a spiritual essential change of consciousness, not the surface manipulation, which is the method of mind and reason, that can alone make life other than it now is and rescue it out of its present distressed and ambiguous figure.
So this can be done only by bringing the psychic forward. That's exactly what you say. And or by this sacrifice, think of the divine and all the time do everything for the divine. That's what you say. So we can do one thing. We'll quickly read the summary of what you're saying. And then we'll go on to the next one. We have time. It's 28. Okay. In the integral yoga, I'm reading the summary of what we read just now. In the integral yoga, there has to be a triple sacrifice. a sacrifice of knowledge, Jnana Yoga, a sacrifice of love, a sacrifice of works. Not such, which is this? This is a, yeah, that's right. This is the one we read just now. It says, I am also quoting a little bit from above. Okay, so a sacrifice of works. The conditions which are the same as the aims, the conditions which are the same as the aims are listed at the end of the previous paragraph. So the work of triple sacrifice is not mental, not rational, not intellectual, but a supramental labor. The integral yoga wants a spiritual perfection, not a moral, ethical perfection, which is nothing but a superficial manipulation of external forms. Morality is nothing but a rearrangement of psychological motives. But the integral yoga requires a refounding. The foundation has to change completely. Foundation is not a vital and mind, but the psychic being and the self. A complete rebuilding of life on divine principles. It is only such a radical rebuilding of the being that can bring a direct control and government of the divine in the earthly life with a transformed body, life, and mind. The present structure of outer nature is a well-disguising mask. Your body-mind life is hiding the soul. So it's a mask. And we are thinking that we are the mask, which is a big mistake. This mask has to be lifted and the divinity hidden behind must be openly revealed. That's what he's saying. Okay? So that's the first principle of the integral yoga. Bring the psyche forward. Second step, go to the self. Go above. Climb to the vertically to the silent mind. That's it. Okay, so we'll read. We've got time. We'll read one more para. So, Tarika, you are also a rare bird. So, today you can read. It is then by transformation. Have you got the text?
Yeah, I got the text, Rangana. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, read. It is then.
But only thing is I have to go to KG. Just a minute.
What happened?
No, 1 minute.
Okay.
It is then by a transformation of life in its very principle, not by an external manipulation of its phenomena, that the integral yoga proposes to change it from a troubled and ignorant into a luminous and harmonious movement of nature. There are three conditions which are indispensable for the achievement of this central inner revolution and new formation. None of them is altogether sufficient in itself, but by their united threefold power, the uplifting can be done, the conversion made and completely made. For first, life as it is a movement of desire, and it has built in us as its center a desire soul, which refers to itself all the motions of life and puts in them its own troubled hue and pain of an ignorant, half-lit, baffled endeavor. For a divine living, desire must be abolished and replaced by a purer and firmer motive power. The tormented soul of desire dissolved in its stead, there must emerge the calm, strength, happiness of a true vital being now concealed within us. Next, life as it is driven or led partly by the impulse of the life force, partly by a mind which is mostly a servant and abettor of the ignorant life impulse, but in part also its uneasy and not too luminous or competent guide and mentor. For a divine life, the mind and the life impulse must cease to be anything but instruments, and the inmost psychic being must take their place as the leader on the path and the indicator of a divine guidance. Last, life as it is, turn towards the satisfaction of the separative ego, ego must disappear and be replaced by the true spiritual person, the central being, and life itself must be turned towards the fulfillment of the divine in terrestrial existence. It must feel a divine force awaking within it and become an obedient instrumentation of its purpose.
Telling you the 3 steps that are necessary. Okay, so we have reached 8:34. So let me see whether what we can do is just get the summary we'll read. Okay, then we can, if necessary, we'll do it next time. But what he's saying, I'm reading the summary. Summary in my words, I'm simplifying. We have seen the enormous difficulty of transforming the vital in the lower planes of body, life, mind. So, how to achieve the purification of the life force? It is not by an external aid working upon the vital that purification can be effectuated. It is from within. It is not from outside, but from within the life force itself that the transformation is possible. The change proposed is from a troubled and ignorant life force to a luminous and harmonious movement of nature. This central inner revolution can be done with 3 conditions. All the 3 working together in tandem can make the change possible. Singly, none of them can succeed. First, the first condition is the abolition of desire, which produces pain and baffled effort. This tormented desire soul must be transformed into a calm, strong, true, vital, full of pure energy. The second condition is the emergence of the psychic being that must govern mind and vital, straighten out their perversions and crookednesses. Even the mind mostly becomes an eager supporter, an abettor. Abettor means an accomplice of the vital, small, narrow desires and perverted movements. Mind and life must become merely obedient instruments of the psychic being and not masters. It's usually the opposite. The vital is a very bad master, but it can be a good servant. That's what this is. The vital can be, there I've written it. The vital can be a good servant, but not a good master. The third and last condition is the abolition of the ego, which is the cause of separation from all, resulting in a sharp I-ness and minus, I and mine. The true individual is vast, free, cosmic. He must replace the small, separate, narrow ego. This is what Swami is saying. Okay? So, we stop here today. And it's really simple. We saw the 3 conditions. So next time we can go on to, there is nothing that is not ancient. Okay? So, okay, note down. There is nothing that is not ancient. Page 177.
Yes, I would like a note.
Okay.
Okay.
We end our class here today. And remember, tomorrow, no class in the morning. Because I have to go to